everybody. Welcome to another edition of the world-famous Steel and Whiskey. I am Doug Evans.
I'm Michelle McCarthy.
I'm Stephanie Haith.
We have Stephanie today as a guest. We're very excited about that.
Stephanie is our product
Manager.
Okay, so I don't want to get that wrong.
No, you're good.
Don't want to act like I don't know what I'm talking about either, but product manager. What are we treating you for whiskey today?
First things first. I'll share. So, on a recommendation through the podcast, we have Old Forester 1910. It's a double-aged. Whiskey's got a little vanilla taste to it. These guys thought it wasn't the best smelling whiskey.
No. It tastes pretty good. It tastes better than it smells.
But it's pretty smooth.
I feel like it's a relative unknown. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
I thought it came in a plastic bottle. It doesn't.
I've seen it, but I've never had it. So this is my maiden voyage. So
Pretty
cheers
good.
to another episode of Steel and Whiskey. And what are we talking about today?
Today we're going to talk with Steph about the opt-in beta for SDS2 2021. So to start that off, why don't you tell us a little bit about why we're doing this opt-in for beta testers?
We're looking for that real-life experience. Using SDS2, we can test things internally, but we want user feedback to help guide the software for new development, those features, things that the user base is actually doing and how they're going to use it, and make sure that we're meeting their expectations for the workflows and for that functionality.
Okay, so one of the things you're going to get out of that as a new user, if you're opting in, you get to try out some of the new stuff.
Yeah, you get a sneak peek and you get to start that new stuff and kind of get ahead of the rest of the group and having an idea of what it looks like, how it works, and having that first try at it, I guess.
Right.
And we've always done. Most software companies have a beta phase, right? So is this different? How is it different this go around with this opt-in process?
Well, we started last year for the first time, and previously we still work with stakeholders, external stakeholders like the advisory board and other users that have definitely given us their time and feedback, but we want a more broader base. And last year we started by doing this opt-in program. It was an opportunity for those people that maybe never even knew that they could do this. They weren't an advisory board member, they weren't maybe in a different part of the group on the users group committee or whatever, and they didn't know that they could even have this opportunity to give us that feedback directly. And so we started that last year, it went really well, and we're continuing that this year with an additional enhancements with how they apply, those kinds of things. So it's our second year doing this, and I'm hoping it's going to go really well.
So I'd be a little intimidated with just knowing all the features in SDS2, and then now you're saying test new things. So how do I learn it? Like, so if I say, "Hey, Steph, I want to opt in," how do I know what's new?
Right.
And how do you teach me how to?
Makes sense. SDS2 is a huge product and
Powerful.
It is very powerful. It is very powerful, and we kind of point them to the direction of, hey, here's the new features A, B, C, D, and E, and here's some things that we'd like feedback. And they have ways to do that through a special email address. There's also a special forum where they can talk with other beta testers so that there's that communication going on, not just with us, but other users that maybe are asking questions about a workflow or a functionality that's been added or a feature, and it kind of helps them get that communication going. So I know it's overwhelming with looking at the product, but we steer them towards here's the things, not that they can't test it in general and give us their feedback, but we're asking them on that new stuff that's coming in 2021 to really give us that feedback for those things.
Right. So for the new features, making sure we're hitting the mark with what we want to deliver.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think people saw some pretty exciting things coming in the SDS2 summit that we had in September, and knowing that some of those features are coming out, what are kind of the areas that we think we'll be having people working on testing or trying out?
Well, some of those items that we talked about during Summit were, like Cruciform, the new UX, which is like the user experience, user interface, giving us feedback on that. Trying to think of a few of the other ones that I had put up there.
Cruciform.
I'm drawing a blank now that I'm on camera.
Well, there's a few new connections, right?
There are. There'll be a couple different shear tabs, flush frame joists, those types of things that they'll be able to give us feedback as well.
Well, and I suppose with the new UX, there's just some time that you've got to devote to kind of learning it too. So
Yes.
gives you a head start as a beta tester to learn some of that before the product actually hits the market
Right.
in 2021.
Yeah, very much so. It gives you that, again, that edge, I feel like, with using the software and seeing it ahead of time and that getting that sneak peek and that how's this going to work into my new workflow or my workflow in the office and I don't know. Just
So give me the pitch. Like, so I'm a detailing manager or fabricator, or I'm a subcontract detailer that owns 20 stations. Do I want my guys running around in that new software? How many people do I want running around? Convince me that it's a good idea for me to help with this process. Like, what are some other...
Well, it gives you the opportunity to help guide us. Instead of after the fact, and there's something maybe in your shop or in your detailing office that you do all the time, and maybe we kind of missed the mark, and you want to guide us to that. That's going to make you more efficient. Well, help us get there. Help us help you, basically, by guiding us with your knowledge and telling us and steering us that, oh, we really needed to do it this way versus this way, and here's why. Giving us that real-life industry knowledge and feedback.
So you're telling me as a user of the product, I can actually influence the product.
Yes.
What a novel idea. And I hope you all hear that. It certainly encourage you to get involved in it because you can help take us the directions we need to go.
Well, I think there's a lot of exciting things coming with the UX, just in some of the things that I've been working with you on here to, new look of the software, new icons, and the ways that we're going to educate people about that to provide additional documentation, some knowledge base, videos to help people get it started, webinars to get started when we do actually launch the product in January. We would probably use our opt-in beta testers as a resource for where were the areas that you had a little bit of trouble. So we would actually be asking you some of your feedback too from a learning perspective. How do we get everyone else up to speed? So you'd actually be giving back to the rest of the SDS2 user base, which I think is an important thing as we build this community of steel detailers and fabricators up.
Very much.
So how much time, so what does that look like? So I'm using the product, I've got ideas or I've seen some issues. How much time is that gobbling up? Like, how do I contact you guys? Is it a chat, an email? Is it a phone?
Well, there's going to be an email that goes out in October, and it was already, you saw the article or the note in the newsletter beginning of October, and there's an email that's going to go out this month, and it'll have kind of a link to a application in a sense where you fill out some information so that we can kind of gauge, okay, are you a fabricator, are you a erector? How are you going to be able to give us feedback on what tools? And they're going to fill this out, and then after you fill that out, within 2 business days, you'll get some kind of communication back, whether it's via email or phone or both, and kind of telling you, yes, we've gone ahead and added you into the opt-in opportunity, or, right now we're kind of full, but if a slot opens up, we might add you. So you'll get that response back within, 2 business days.
And let's say I just think this is outstanding, right? I've enjoyed the process. I think I'm making a difference for my company and the whole entire SDS2 user base. I want to do more. Like, I want to be more involved in helping SDS2. What are some other opportunities? Do we have, like, teams on projects that I could be included on as an external person? Or what other things can I be?
So other ways that you can also participate in helping outside of this opportunity of the beta testing is, obviously, if there's a position right away, on the advisory board, that would be one way that you could, there was one that came up this year. Nominate if those options, the opportunity comes up where there's a slot again, think about that. Another way would be for each project, and when I say project, maybe the cruciform is a project by itself. There's stakeholders, and there's internal and external stakeholders. And if you're interested in being that, so that you can give feedback even at the very, very beginning part of the stages there in development, voice that. Say that you want to be a stakeholder early on and you're really interested, you have a lot of experience in this area, and you can feel like you can really provide a lot of feedback and knowledge and bring that knowledge to the table. Those opportunities are all the time.
Yep. And that was, to be honest, it was a setup question because I've been involved in some of these meetings. So it's a Teams meeting where we have a couple programmers, maybe some port people, and then some customers involved in saying, hey, what should we do for this project? And it's really an outstanding way to develop software. It's a way to make sure we're hitting marks and timelines. So
and delivering what the industry needs
and how they use it, absolutely. So it's really pushing that product to a level that it needs to be before you release it instead of doing it. So
We've been all business, but this is really good whiskey.
I know it is.
Really good. So, take a break from all business for a minute. Steph, you've been with SDS2 for how long now?
22 years?
22 years. So in 22 years, you've seen a number of different releases.
She started when she was 8.
Yeah.
Nice job,
A lot
Doug.
of releases, yes.
So what's different about the 2021 release compared to years past?
Well, again, Doug mentioned the teams and the stakeholders being involved early on in the process. That's really been a big change, and I think it's really, not that we still have advisory board, and they've always been very helpful, but it's adding more people to that base of getting stakeholder feedback, different areas of the industry. So that's different with our development processes, and that helps us get to where we need to be for where it makes SDS2 the most powerful and most efficient for you to use. I think that's a big thing.
Right.
Trying to think of how else I would say SDS2 is different for 2021. We can continue to focus on stability. That's a big thing.
I think the word you used, efficient, is really important here, because what I've seen is that we've just really found a way to be more efficient internally with our resources. And so we can get more done with the resources we have. And so that efficiency is really improved, I think.
We have changed a ton of internal development processes along with other departments. You guys have all been involved in a lot of process changes as well in your departments, but yeah, it's definitely made us streamline and become more efficient, work more efficiently, more productive, and get us a better end product.
Yeah.
We've been able to add some great new developers to the team,
Yeah.
which is exciting.
I
Yes.
met one today on a Teams meeting.
Yeah.
Yes. I saw you were on that team's meeting.
Yes.
Very proud of you.
Very proud of me. And not only do we have more efficient product development, but on the other end of the camera, we have marketing that I think you've seen outward-facing customer-wise has changed a lot. And look for some really cool things coming up in 2021.
Well, and I'm excited from the marketing standpoint to be able to contact some of the beta testers and find out earlier on, hey, what are the things that you're really finding useful with 2021? What are the areas that we need to shout about that are really cool? Where are the areas that we need to make sure we're helping everyone know, hey, this is a little bit different. Maybe we need to have some tips and tricks for our existing users to get that information out there too. So we'll be contacting you. Let's see,
Where do
what
we go
else?
from there? I don't know.
Well, we've talked about how they, why they should do it. We've talked about how they're going to be able to do that through an email. They're going to get that here soon. It's exciting times. It's something else I do want to note, though. We've talked about the UX, and it is super cool and exciting, and it's an awesome initiative, but it is a multi-year phase thing.
You're right. We should probably mention that. It is
wanna
a
bring
phases.
that
It's a
up.
big project.
Just want to bring it up.
What's coming looks really, really cool.
It does. It looks super cool.
The next step will be even better.
Oh yes, this is a continuation for every version of changes. So it's exciting.
And it's a life thing, right? So older customers, when you drastically change user interface, is going to be hard, but we have to understand that it's an advancement, right? It's like,
It is.
so if you look at children, if you did never want children to change, they'd never grow up to be adults and the great things they can be. Same thing with the product. If you leave it back just because it worked that way, you can't experience the great things that could be.
Right.
So letting the product live and breathe. Understand some people will be like, why are they changing it? But I think there's going to be some great enhancements to that. And new users love it anyway. So it's really just that older population that's used to a certain way. And we all get used to certain things, and I understand that, and I'm not, checking. But if I can just get into that space of adapting, it's certainly
Adapting will be a thing, but do you remember when they did the new member edit screen?
Yes.
I hated that thing. It took me a solid 2 weeks
I can
to
actually
figure out.
remember. Yes.
Like, okay, I just
Conversations with you.
clunked around until I finally figured out, oh, double click here, and it just takes me where I want to go.
Yep.
So with the focus being even better with UI and UX on reducing the amount of clicks, making things easier to find, making some of the icons make a little bit more sense.
Right.
Simplifying some of those things. Not only is it should be easy to adapt to. Onboarding the next generation of detailers
That is
going to
good
be easier as
whiskey.
well. It's really good whiskey. So I might beat you to being done on this one, Doug. It's so good.
But something I also want to point out too is that you were saying how it's hard because it's, it's you're an existing user and you're coming forward, but we recognize that because in 2021 you're going to have both.
A traditional.
Yeah.
You're going to have your classic
mode
look and the new lightning
mode.
Lightning mode.
Lightning mode.
So
You're going to be
able
so fast.
learn throughout that period of time so that you can move over to the new one instead of just instantly
So
being over.
will the same project be able to be used in both?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a commitment, certainly, by us to make sure that we're
help you, get to that point. So like you were talking about kids, it's kind of us, leading the way and kind of helping you grow into that
Right.
new user experience that maybe you weren't used to because you are an existing users. The new users, again, they're going to probably go right off
Right.
and go into
Exactly.
lightning mode, but
So you're telling me I shouldn't have let my kid drive at 12?
probably not. Although I'm sure.
At least not in lightning mode.
Yeah.
Any other things
But,
we need to
you
cover?
can, as you're learning it, you can be in your classic mode.
Yes.
Work
So,
on it. Just if
yes.
you're going to send us any screenshots, flip over to lightning mode. Then to send us the screenshots.
Yes.
That's a little battery-powered toy Jeep from a kid's standpoint. You can put them in that.
Right. And then
Classic.
lightning mode is
12-year-old, a battery-powered Jeep.
Well,
lightning mode is just taking the regulator off and let them go as
There you
fast as it'll go.
There you go. We did that with the four-wheeler. Yeah.
anything else we need to cover?
I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get
Yeah.
into it. I hope that the customer base is excited, and we're excited to bring on the next team of opt-in beta users.
So I encourage everyone, like I said, talk to Steph, get involved in that opt-in. It really helps us, and I think it'll help you guide both internally and then the future of the product. So we're excited. It's another edition of Steel and Whiskey.
Yes, and if you've got an extra $1 or $2 laying around, go find this Old Forester. It's good.
It's good. We appreciate Steph being here. Thank you
Yes,
for coming
thank you.
and spending
Thanks
some
for
time with
asking.
us. So take care, everybody. Talk to you soon.